This is the most common way that you would set up a tea ritual. You have a gaiwan in the center, your tea pre-prepared for the portion that you're using, a container for you to pour your tea in, a few cups if you're sharing with some friends, and a larger container to dump the water that you don't use. So usually, and this is one of the most important steps, is that you'll have to warm your gaiwan, and basically all of the containers that you'll be using, you'll have to pre-warm it. So what I usually do is you would boil the water first, and once it's boiled, you'll first warm the gaiwan. Close the lid so it traps the heat in. While it's warming up, you can take a look at the tea that you're drinking. Give it a smell. Usually it smells different when it's dry versus when it's wet. So give it a smell and you can compare afterwards when it's wet. After a couple of seconds, you can sort of tilt the lid of the gaiwan and you can pour the water out to this second container, using this water to warm the second container as well. And while you're doing that, it's time to drop your tea leaves in. You can use anything, could be a stick, a chopstick, a fork, whatever you like, just to aid the dropping of the tea into the bowl. When the tea is in the gaiwan, you can pick it up and give it a smell. You'll see that with the heat in the gaiwan, the smell of the tea, the aroma is very different compared to when it was dry. Sometimes I would also close it up and give it a few shakes like this, so the smell is more evenly spread out. It smells really nice. And then, once this is heated, you will then heat the cups. The excess water, you would just pour it into the bigger container because we won't be needing it anymore. And once these are heated, you can also dump these out. So now that all of our containers are heated, we're ready to start brewing our tea. So again, you would pick up your water that is pre-boiled, and usually I'd like to wait for the water to kind of calm down a little bit instead of pouring it right out when it's boiling. You can use any kettle. I'm using a coffee kettle because it's easier to control the pour. Once you're done pouring, you go ahead and close up the lid. And once it's closed up, you can wait for about 25 to 30 seconds. Honestly, it depends on the type of tea and the shape that it's in. For this one, I'd say about 25 to 30 seconds for the first brew. Once it's done, again, open up the lid a little bit, like so, and then hold it up over the container, and you would pour the tea out. Whenever you're done pouring, make sure you open the lid so the leaf is not overly steamed inside. I usually use the tool here, whatever you use, to kind of spread the tea out a little bit, just to prepare it for the next brew. And once it's in this container, you can then serve it to the people that you're drinking tea with. Starting from the right to the left. And there you go. That's how you brew your tea. And this is obviously the more complicated version and requires you to have a little bit more tools. If you don't have any of these, the way I would do it is to still get a gaiwan, but you can get rid of almost everything else. So you can get rid of this. All of these you don't actually need. You don't need this as either. Nothing. You can really just use the gaiwan and a container that you're drinking your tea with. That can be a cup, a bowl, anything you'd like to drink your tea with. So the way I would do it is, again, basically just pour the brewed tea directly to whatever you're drinking your tea with. So let's try it. This is the second brew. Pour the water in. And for the second brew, I would probably add around 10 seconds or so to the first brew. So if we waited for 25 to 30 seconds for the first brew, the second brew would be 35 to 40 seconds. Okay, again, open the lid slightly, and you can just pour directly into whatever you're drinking your tea in. Open the lid, and at this point you can actually give the lid a smell. See how it changes from dry to the first brew to the second brew. And you can see that after 2 brews, our tea leaves is pretty open compared to when it was a ball shaped, when it was dry. And there you go, you can enjoy your tea. And if you'd like to brew again, you would just repeat the process, but you would up the seconds. The teas are usually good for anywhere between 5 to 8 brews. So you can sort of enjoy it throughout the day until you're done with it. And that's it. That's how you would brew your tea with a gaiwan.